Let us understand how to use load command to load data into partition tables. Let's go to the details first and then we'll actually see all the steps that are required in action. We need to make sure that file format of the file which is being loaded into table is same as the file format used while creating the table. In our case, the files which we are going to load into orders_part should be of type same format that is used while creating the table. We also need to make sure that delimiters are consistent between files and table for text file format. If you are using text file format, in that case, the delimiters also should be consistent between the source files and the table that is created. Also, data should match the criteria for the partition into which data is loaded. In this case, for each partition, we need to have separate set of files and data should match the criteria for the partition. Let's review our data retail DB orders. If you actually go through the details, this is the location of the orders folder. You have a file called as part-50, and if you actually view the file, it contains data for 1 year. This is how the data is, and this is the date which we have, and it have data for 364 days. In this case, as we have data for complete 1 year, but our partitions are based on month, we need to split into files matching partition criteria, which is by month, and then load into the table. To use load command to load the files into partitions, we need to pre-partition the data based on partition logic. Let's do that here. In this case, I'm creating a folder called as orders in my home directory. This is my home directory. It will take care of creating the folder. If it is already existing, then you just have to delete it by saying rm-rf like this, and you should be able to delete the folder in your home directory, and then create the folder by saying mkdir orders. This is not mandatory. I just specified it so that even if you are in some other directory, you will be able to create the folder in your home directory only. Tilde represents home directory in Linux. That being said, as we have deleted and recreated the folder, now what we will do is we will try to grep using 2013-07 on our part file in orders. Because we have only 4 columns and there is no way order ID or order customer ID or order status will have this value, we can safely use this. In some cases, it might not be as simple as this. Let me actually review what is going on here when we run this command. It will just filter for all those records which contain 2013-07 in it. You can actually say wc-l to see how many records it will get. You can also say tail or head to just see few records. So in this case, I am using tail, and you can see few records here. So it is only showing 2013-07 data. Similarly, if you use 2013-08, it will give you the data related to 2013-08 only, which is 2013 August. And you can see here, you can also run wc-l to get the count. We have 5680 records for 2013 August. However, if you just say wc-l and pass the path of this file, you can see that it have 68,883 records. Now we are trying to split this file into multiple files. Each file will contain only a month specific data. That is what is going on here. So we are trying to grep for 2013 July from this file and redirecting to orders_2013-07. Now let me run this. It will create the file orders_2013-07 under orders. Now if you say tail orders_2013-07, it contain only 2013-07 data. You can also say wc-l to get the record count on this, and you can see that it is giving 1533 records. You can actually see it here. It is same as what we have seen earlier. So all those records which are filtered are redirected to this file. Similarly, we will be doing it for 2013 August, September and October as well. It have created 4 files now, and you can see that each of these files have only 4 columns. However, the data is related to specific partition into which we are trying to load the data. Just keep that in mind that your data that is being loaded into the partition tables have exactly the same number of columns except the partition column, but the file should only contain data related to that partition. That being said, let's run these load commands to actually load the data into the partition table. I am connecting to the database itversity retail. I am running this command to copy the file orders underscore 2013-07 from home itversity orders into order month 2013-07 partition, and then you should be able to run this command to review that the file is copied. So ls is only giving the folder names, it is not giving the actual file details. To actually review the file details, we can use -R here, and we should be able to recursively run the ls command against all the folders. You can see that for 2013 July we have a file of size 64 KB. You can also run tail command or cat command on this. You will see exactly 4 columns in it, but the data will be only related to 2013 July. You can also run these additional load commands to copy the files related to all the 4 partitions, and then you should be able to run this ls command recursively, and you should be able to see a file for each and every partition in this. So you have to specify which file you want to load into which partition. So the way you can specify the partition is like this. After saying into table name, you just have to say partition, and you have to specify the partition column and partition column value like this. This is how you should be able to load data into a partition table using load command. Now if you run the query, it will actually fetch the 5 values, even though there are only 4 values in the files. The 5th value will come from the folder name. Let me run this query called as select star from orders underscore part with a limit 10, and you should be able to see the results. Even though our files have only 4 columns, comma separated, when we run this query select star from orders underscore part limit 10, you will be seeing 5 values. The 5th column value, which is nothing but order month value, is coming from the partition folder, which is nothing but this one. That is how it will actually fetch the 5th column value. We have seen how to load the data into partition table using load command. We need to pre-process the data before loading the files into the partition folder. Otherwise, it will show incorrect results. It might not throw errors, but when you try to fetch the data, you will be seeing incorrect results, which will be very tough to troubleshoot unless you understand the concept of how to pre-process the data and load whatever data that should be loaded into the partition folders when the table is partitioned, if you are trying to get the data into that using load command.